go fire and brimstone over these things. This didn't wash really well. And that's the reason why I think the political pressure was piled so high on Mamata Banerjee personally and her government in general that on day 6, thanks to India Today's relentless coverage, painting every aspect of what's been happening, the Trinamool government didn't have a choice. They had to cut their losses. They had to cut this man loose. India is pretty much shocked because those pictures of those huge monumental mountains of cash that were discovered, and yet the government had not sacked this minister, was a source of great disbelief.
We've also, you mentioned how the opposition's likely to react on what they've been saying and how, Mamata really has been causing her own downfall. We also have Priyanka Tibrewal on the phone line with us, Shiv.
We have Priyanka Tibrewal on the phone line with us. She's from the West Bengal BJP. Priyanka, 6 days later, Partha Chatterjee has been sacked from the West Bengal government. Your first reactions, the BJP's first reactions on this?
Hi, very good evening, Shiv. See, there is nothing to react because we all knew that this should come from the government. But, only sacking him as a minister is not all. Where you demand suspension of one Nupur Sharma for just saying something against a community, and here we see mountains and loads of money being unearthed. That also, they do not have any clarification to the same. Here you are not suspending him from the party. And it is not only about Partha Chatterjee. The other ministers who are still ministers in the Mamata Banerjee government, they are all jail-returned ministers. And investigation is also going on against them. So then if she is suspending Partha, if she is taking away his ministership, then the ministership of Bobby Hakeem should also be taken. Then they should also not hold any portfolio. But you see, they are all running in the same race because everyone is enrolled in this camp from top to bottom. And this is just one section which has been caught.
What is the opposition? Priyanka, what is the opposition BJP going to do now? It's taken 6 days to sack Partha Chatterjee. The Trinamool government there says we have nothing to do with Arpita. Is the BJP going to call off its protests or continue its protests now that Partha has been sacked?
Why should we call off? Not at all. Why should we call off? Because the money which has been recovered is just peanuts. Because we have heard Mamata Banerjee, we have heard Dola Sen saying that, keep 25% and give 75% to the party. Now, where is the 75%? Who are the people whose names are there in the black diary? Now, everything should come out, and all those names which comes out, they have no right to be part of the government. Rather, I would say, this government is not capable to hold on as a government.
So you're saying that Mamata Banerjee cannot wash her hands off this cash? Is that what the BJP's line of attack is going to be? Because she says, let the law take its own course. We have nothing to do with Arpita Mukherjee.
Of course, Mamata Banerjee is answerable because only her saying that she doesn't know who Arpita was and she doesn't know that Partha was involved, nobody will accept this because if you are a chief minister of a state and under your nose if everything is happening, nobody would believe that in such a big scam you were not aware as to what is happening.
Priyanka Tibrewal, thanks for speaking to India Today. So, Abha, the heat is high. The BJP is not going to, take this as a victory, even though a minister has been axed after 6 days. It looks like the BJP has its guns trained directly at the West Bengal Chief Minister as expected, Abha.
Shiv joining us there on that big breaking news at this hour. Shiv, do continue to stay with us as we continue to get reactions coming in on this big story. Partha Chatterjee there, has been finally axed, and he was a key minister in Mamata's cabinet. Shiv, it raises questions, and we've heard the BJP. They sound so reassured that this is really the beginning of the TMC's downfall. Now, Mamata, on her part, has taken this over the last couple of days, as you mentioned, to really issue a round of salvos against the Saffron Party and talk about how it's several criticisms against them. Do you really feel that this is the beginning of a shake-up in West Bengal? Is there a deeper systemic issue that is going to be tapped into now?
See, that's a very good question, Abha. The your corruption versus my corruption between the Trinamool and the BJP has been ongoing for a long time. What was different this time were the sheer piles and mountains of cash that were captured on camera in one individual's residence. That came as an absolute shock because there was no innuendo here. It was actually hard, cold cash. First 20 crore and then 28 crore and then gold ornaments, all captured on camera in a single person's properties. A person whose associate number one happens to be a Trinamool minister. So anything that the Trinamool said, to try and turn the tables on the opposition didn't get many takers because people were riveted to these images of all these 2,500 rupee notes, that were lying in these disgusting piles of black money. And that's the reason why I think the Trinamool and Mamata Banerjee in particular, were taking their time to see if they could turn this politically in their favor, if they could, cut Partha Chatterjee loose in a way without having to drop him as a minister. All those things obviously didn't wash. And I think it took 6 days for the Trinamool and Mamata to realize that each passing day has damaged them further and further and further in public perception. Not just in Bengal. Remember, Mamata Banerjee has national ambitions in 2024, and this just looked terrible. Even her comment saying that, we don't know Arpita, let the law take its own course. General public said, how can you not take action against a guy when this kind of filthy cash has been found in his friend's house? Can you really distance yourself? We're not looking for innuendo and, the usual rhetoric. You must take a stand because you are a strong politician with strong views about clean governance. How can this wash with you, Mamata Didi, was the general perception. And I think with each passing day, as the damage continued to build, as the perception continued to get, hotter and hotter, I think day 6 was like the final straw as far as the Trinamool was concerned. We started hearing some voices of rebellion within the party today saying that Partha Chatterjee must be axed. And I think damage control went into total crisis mode, saying we need to sack this guy. Whatever comes next, we'll handle it. But this guy is absolutely nuclear for us right now. We've got to kick him out. And that's what's happened.
So, of course, there will be, the resulting action against him as well. Shiv, do you think, however, it will lead to any kind of investigation or further digging into, into the party and the workings of the party? I mean, how could a scam of this size have unfolded despite whatever she says about this being about one individual?
The difference between this particular scandal and other, corruption scandals, and I repeat this once again, is that the visual has become so compelling. It's become a metaphor of political corruption and government corruption, Abha. All of us, in many ways are cynics. We understand that political corruption happens everywhere. But in this particular case, the very fact that the public has been able to actually get a visual of what that corruption looks like, it doesn't happen very often. And in the house of a minister's close friend, the BJP has made it very clear that Partha Chatterjee is just a small fry. He's not the real target. The jobs recruitment scheme is a government scheme. It was not someone's pet project or personal, mission. Therefore, the entire scam and its heat needs to stop at Mamata Banerjee's doorstep. That's the reason why you just heard the BJP representatives saying that we are not going to stop our protests. We're going to continue protesting is what they said until Mamata Banerjee is called upon or summoned in this entire affair. Mamata Banerjee has distanced herself, saying we know nothing about this. This is not part of what the Trinamool does. But how much can she actually distance herself considering her own minister has been found fit to be sacked from the government? Can the government wash its hands off? Can Mamata Banerjee wash her hands off this entire mountain of cash? Is the big, big legal and political question right now, Abha.
Okay, Agnimitra Paul, BJP leader, also joining us, and Rajdeep Sardesai also joining us, consulting editor, to take forward the story. And we were just speaking to Agnimitra a little while ago, and she was talking about how they were just waiting and watching for this and for the downfall of Partha Chatterjee. Rajdeep, let me hand over to you.
Well, what we've learned, Abha, is that there was enormous pressure on Mamata Banerjee to act against Partha Chatterjee. And remember, Partha Chatterjee is someone who's been very close to the Chief Minister over the years. While a number of people left her, rejoined her, Partha always stood loyally by Mamata Banerjee. So there was a loyalty factor, which is why initially we are told that Mamata Banerjee was, if not reluctant, then almost unwilling to to take action right away against Partha Chatterjee till she was reportedly convinced that this was not, according to her aide, an attempt being made by the Enforcement Directorate to corner her. But I think when that second raid took place yesterday, more mounds of cash found, all of this is damaging the image of Mamata Banerjee, who claims that she will be tough on corruption. The charges have mounted against several of her ministers over the years, but this is open, hard evidence in the public eye. And once that was found, it became very difficult. It became very difficult for Mamata Banerjee to really hold on to Partha Chatterjee. So huge embarrassment for the Trinamool Congress leader and indeed her government. Agnomitra Paul of the BJP joins us. Your first reaction, Mr. Paul, to Mamata Banerjee finally sacking Partha Chatterjee?
See, we knew that, I think just 15 minutes back, I was talking to your channel and I had said that, they are going to take this decision because she doesn't have anything else to do right now. She wants to distance herself, and this is one step that she is taking just to show that as if the party has nothing to do with this corruption and Mr. Partha Chatterjee's corruption things and money and all these things. But she can't distance herself right now. How can she distance herself? Arpita Mukherjee is saying that all this money belongs to Partha Chatterjee. And who is Partha Chatterjee? The number 2 in TMC government. Everybody knows that. He is the Secretary General of the party. He is the head of the discipline committee. He is the industry minister. How can you say that you don't know anything about his deeds, what he was doing all this while? There was a time, in 2021 when Mamata Banerjee was saying that I am the face of all 294
ma'am, that Mamata Banerjee cannot.
How can she? If you are the face of all
saying that
294
Mamata
seats,
cannot
how can you just,
her second in
how
command?
can you just? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
You are saying you can't disown. She can't disown the minister. Indrajit Kundu is joining us. Indrajit, what happened at that meeting? Was this unanimous, or are there divisions within the Trinamool Congress over acting against someone as senior as Partha Chatterjee? A lot of talk of factionalism within the TMC.
Well, as characteristic of the kind of cabinet meetings that Mamata Banerjee chairs, it was a short meeting, about 15 to 20 minutes. Her cabinet did meet today at Nabanno at the State Secretariat. We were given to understand that Mamata Banerjee has cautioned. She has cautioned all her cabinet ministers of consequences given the implications of this case right now. Clearly, there is some amount of worry that is there within the ranks of the Trinamool Congress as well as the government and the administration. And therefore, as you just suggested, what happened yesterday came as a bolt from the blue. There is a caution that Arpita, who is in ED custody right now, may spill the beans. Is the party well equipped to handle this at this point in time? Because what is working against the Trinamool Congress government right now, one might just argue that similar things have taken place in the past as well. Before the 2016 election, assembly elections, there was Narda. Then there was Sharda scam right after Mamata Banerjee came to power in 2011. And Trinamool Congress did, of course, get political success, electoral success, despite those scams. So what's the difference this time around? The difference, of course, is the way these images have created some sort of a perception in the mind of people. Everybody in Bengal is talking about it in buses and trams. People going to office, they're all talking about only one thing, the amount of cash, something that has set off a chain reaction within the Bengali society, because this is something of a unprecedented situation. People haven't seen something like this. Never in the history of West Bengal have we seen a central agency, getting so much of cash in a raid. And this, Mamata Banerjee knows, clearly sends out the perception, and therefore, perhaps many would say she had no other choice but to axe off Partha Chatterjee. The water had just gone beyond the level, and that is exactly what we are hearing. So Partha Chatterjee acts from government. He's no more a minister right now. Mamata Banerjee, of course, has taken charge of the Department of Industry, Commerce and Enterprise, as well as Information and Technology. Even as we speak, she is, chairing a very crucial meeting of the West Bengal, Industrial Board. And that's very, very crucial right now, because the optics of it is very crucial, because she is showing that she is in control. Right. And minutes from now, the Trinamool Congress will be meeting. Mamata Banerjee won't be there. 5 o'clock meeting. Abhishek Banerjee will be chairing that meet with the senior leadership, the disciplinary committee of Trinamool Congress, of which Partha Chatterjee himself, as one of the senior most members of the party, was a member. That's the irony of the situation, and we can expect that Partha Chatterjee might be axed from his post as Secretary General as well. So Trinamool Congress clearly on the defensive right now and trying to shed off whatever damage that has happened by shedding off Partha Chatterjee right now. Opinion clearly divided within Trinamool Congress, with a section believe that if action is initiated, it will amount to accepting guilt. But there is also another section which feels that if they keep owning Partha Chatterjee, it will cause more harm.
Right. So clearly the Trinamool Congress finds itself caught between a rock and a hard place. How can they really disown someone who's been Secretary General and second in command so easily? Jayanto Ghoshal joins me at the moment, senior journalist and close to Mamata Banerjee. Jayanto, what is the sense you're picking up? Is the TMC divided on the issue of Partha Chatterjee's future? Was Mamata Banerjee left with no choice? Was she keen to remove Partha Chatterjee right at the very outset when this allegation first surfaced?
Rajdeep, first of all, I want to say that actually this decision of sacking Partha Chatterjee, actually 3 days back, Mamata Banerjee took this decision and she consulted with Abhishek Banerjee. Abhishek Banerjee wanted this since, I think 2-3 months back actually, Abhishek proposed that when the investigation started, we should go for the preemptive move and you should dismiss Partha Chatterjee. You can drop Partha Chatterjee from the cabinet. But that time there was a dilemma because he was not Tom, Dick, Harry. He was the number 2 of the cabinet. He was a chairman of the disciplinary action committee of TMC. And he was the editor of Jago Bangla. He's a member of the editorial board. So, and he's a founder member of the party. So actually Mamata Banerjee took time and she wanted to see the party cadre's reaction. Yesterday, she visited one district, Hooghly district, and she didn't take the helicopter and by road she went and there was a interaction with the masses. She stopped the car and she talked to the masses. So she wanted to see that how much crowd is coming, what is the impulse, and she talked to the lawyers and she got a lot of information also, and she got that information that in 2013, Partha Chatterjee did a agreement with Arpita Mukherjee. There is a house deed, the property deed. And she was so upset for the last 2-3 days. She was very upset, but she took time because in a phased manner. First, she took the car, from the cabinet, then from the removal of the party organ, editorial board, because you can ask that why she took this time, because as Indrajit was also saying, that there is a school of thought that if you take action, that immediate enforcement and CBI can go for other ministers. Pandora's box can be open. So you have to take a, position that...
No, but is it still possible? Is it still possible that other ministers could also be in the line of fire, Jayanto? That yes. Today it is Partha Chatterjee.
Yes.
There could be other ministers who are also involved. This can't be only one minister.
No, I'm telling you, the one minister is Paresh Adhikari. He's a state minister, already once CBI interrogated, enforcement interrogated, and few other leaders and ministers like Malay Ghatak, one minister related to the coal scam, it's another scam, and one Anubrata, and he's a Birbhum district leader, district president. It's a very important post and he's a very important leader for organization. So it can be a series of leaders because the school of thought inside the TMC, especially the old guards, they were telling Mamata that if you take action, then these people who are actually very useful for the election, Panchayat election is coming, and later in 2004, the 24 Lok Sabha election is coming. You can be, organizationally, it can be, disturbing news for that. But Mamata, when she saw that her photograph is showing with the cash, all the pink cash, all the black money, and that photo, she was so irritated yesterday that my photograph media is showing with the money. Actually, Partha Chatterjee did it, and I didn't know anything. That was the immediate reaction. And immediately she called Abhishek and said that you have to take the action, because the Mamata Banerjee didn't know that Partha Chatterjee's relationship with Arpita, that is a private personal relationship, and she was not related to Trinamool Congress, but as a chief minister, as the vanguard of the cabinet, she has to take the responsibility. If she doesn't take any action, it's a very catch-22 situation, very painful, emotional relationship was there. I mean, it's a family relationship with Partha. So I think the better late than never. She took the decision on the very first day, but she took time for several reasons. But TMC's mood is good, happy, that better late than never. That is the mood, Rajdeep.
Better late than never, but Indrajit Kundu, a final word. This could be the start, isn't it, of, in a way, the chickens coming home to roost, because there has been much buzz about these scams, about syndicates, about cash transactions taking place for several years now. Now, with one major minister being sacked in the manner that he has, and with all the exposes of these mountains of cash, how long can Mamata hold it all together is a question that will be raised.
Well, absolutely. That is a question that is being raised. That is a question that's on the mind of most people within the TMC circles as well, because as I said, there is a characteristic difference between the kind of reaction that we saw in the previous instances, be it Sharda, Narda, all these cases. It did not impact TMC's electoral success. This one, there is no election right away. Panchayat election is still far away. But what it does is it has sent shockwaves down the TMC leadership because of the images of the cash. That has created some sort of a perception. It's something that people have been able to connect with, and therefore the sense of urgency. Even as I speak, Abhishek Banerjee, who will be holding the meeting in a short while from now at the Trinamool Congress headquarters, he spoke. He dialed the SSC aspirants who have been sitting on the streets of Kolkata at Gandhi statue for nearly 500 days. So, he spoke to them, he assured them, which means that there is active political intervention, because the Trinamool Congress leadership understands, the gravity of the situation right now. They want to bring situation in control. In fact, Abhishek Banerjee will be meeting a delegation of SSC aspirants tomorrow. We've always seen Abhishek Banerjee maintaining a distance as far as governance is concerned. But here, rather than Chief Minister herself giving the assurance, Abhishek Banerjee is giving the assurance to these aspirants that he is going to actively intervene and resolve their issue. Clearly shows that it's a two-pronged strategy. Mamata Banerjee removing, Partha Chatterjee, trying to send out a signal. She has most definitely told her ministers to be really, really cautious right now. And Abhishek Banerjee, of course, will be holding the meeting and sending out a message to his party men as well.
Right. Okay, I'm going to take a break at this point. That was the big breaking story that was coming in at the moment. Partha Chatterjee, Secretary General of the Trinamool Congress, number 2 in the West Bengal cabinet, has been finally sacked after the expose in the teachers' recruitment scam, and the Enforcement Directorate investigations revealed a mountain of cash with his close aide Arpita Mukherjee. Both of them have been arrested. Now Partha Chatterjee has been sacked. We'll keep tracking that Bengal political story. Of course, news and updates continue here on India Today. Keep watching India Today.
All right, Madan Mitra also joining us on the phone line. Mr. Mitra, just to get your reaction as well to the sacking, and we're wondering now if you'll also be sacked from the TMC, and what really took Mamata Banerjee that long?
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Mitra, you're with us on India Today. Wanted to get your reaction to Partha Chatterjee being axed.
Actually, to be very frank to you, I was out of town for the last 7 days, and I went to Pune for my official meeting. So I was that way completely in dark. I was not totally aware, but just now I have landed, I am in Calcutta airport. Just now I have listened that Partha Chatterjee is no more there in the ministry. So, we are all party loyalists, and we believe in party discipline and all that. So whatever the party decision is concerned, everybody, all party men has to obey it. There is no alternative.
What is the consensus among the party, Mr. Mitra? What is likely to happen?
I don't like to make any detailed statement because I'm just going to assembly now directly. Assembly, I think all my colleagues are waiting there. I will meet them. So, but one thing I can say, whatever it is, nobody is above party. So party's decision is decision. And I am also, as a party, I have no alternative than to abide by it.
All right, Mr. Mitra, thanks for joining us. Indrajit is still with us. Indrajit, seems to be pretty clear if you read the writing between the lines. It looks like he's going to be, out even from the party itself. We're still waiting for that meeting. He's already been sacked. Now questions around his other role as well. But the indicators coming in seem pretty clear that something of this scale and size cannot go without action.
There's no doubt about that. The Trinamool Congress leadership has been in a huddle. What Jayantana just told us, that this decision was taken about 2 to 3 days back when Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, in consultation with Abhishek Banerjee, took the final call. I can tell you, a few days back when Partha Chatterjee was first, produced before court, during that day as well, there was a crucial meeting that took place in the Trinamool Congress, chaired by Abhishek Banerjee himself. There were other senior leaders like Firhad Hakim, Chandrima Bhattacharya, who is the state finance minister, and Kunal Ghosh, the state spokesperson of the party. And that day, the party seemed to be a little divided because there was a buzz that perhaps that day itself a decision would be announced. That was not to be. So initially the Trinamool Congress was in a bind on whether or not to initiate such an action, because a section within the TMC felt that if they acted against Partha Chatterjee, then it would be admission of guilt. And they were waiting how the central agency, the central government would, take the entire thing forward. But what happened yesterday, in a sense, was a nail on the coffin, because we got more money, in fact, much more than what was recovered from the first, apartment of Arpita. And therefore, those images were splashed across media. That seemed to be the trigger right now with the Trinamool Congress deciding, no more, this is time to action.
Absolutely. Indrajit, stay with us. We're going to take a very quick break. We'll come back with more developments as the story continues to unfold. Do stay with us. Back in just a moment.
You are watching India Today.
With every sunrise comes new beginnings, new opportunities and new stories. And that's why we're first up. While you're sleeping, we're hard at work to ensure you get the perfect news shot every morning. Get you all the updates. Our morning mission to get you news that's fresh and packed with flavor. Watch First Up every weekday morning with me, Akshata Nandagopal, right here on India Today.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
You are watching You are watching India Today.
Welcome back. We're still on top of that breaking story at this hour with Partha Chatterjee being axed. And the first reaction now coming in from Mamata saying, I have relieved him because my party is a very strict party. If someone thinks they can change perception by showing this, they are wrong. The play is very big. I won't tell it now. That's Mamata Banerjee saying that I've relieved Partho because my party is a very strict party. And if someone thinks they can change perception by showing this, they are wrong. The play is very big and I won't tell it now. Indrajit Kundu still with us live on the story. Indrajit, lots of innuendos and insinuations in that reaction coming in from Mamata Banerjee, still trying to get the upper hand despite the fact that she took so long to act on this mega scam.
Well, absolutely, Ava. Characteristic defiance as far as Mamata Banerjee is concerned. She wants to fight it out is what the message that she wants to deliver to everyone. In fact, this is the third occasion where she is speaking out on Partha Chatterjee. She's been speaking out on this issue each and every day over the past 3 days. That shows the gravity of the situation. And while she was speaking, she was conducting a meeting, chairing a meeting of the West Bengal Industrial Development Corporation, taking over the industry's portfolio from Partha Chatterjee. This is the first meeting. So Mamata Banerjee defined, saying that, there is a larger conspiracy to this entire thing. She will speak out sometime later. But she is saying that if the opposition is trying to create a perception against her government by using the images that have now been released by the central agency and something that has gone viral, she is saying that they are not going to succeed in this entire effort. However, at the same time, she's trying to give out a stern message that her party and her administration will not support any sort of corrupt activities. In fact, what I am told by my sources, when the meeting took place today at the cabinet meet, Mamata Banerjee had a stern warning for all her ministers to be really, really cautious, given the kind of implications that Partha Chatterjee's incident has had on her governance. So clearly, Mamata Banerjee, trying to send out a stern message, at the same time remaining and staying defiant politically.
Staying defiant, clearly. We've got a big TMC meet also coming up. She's also tried to imply, let's just go through this quote once again, saying that despite what people might want to show through this, my party is very strict. I mean, who is she alluding towards, Indrajit? I mean, clearly trying to imply that this is, some kind of conspiracy, which is, highly unlikely. I mean, just take a look, and, as Shiv was also saying earlier, there are just mountains and piles of cash, and that visual has really taken everyone by shock and surprise. The kind of, cash that's been uncovered and the scale of this entire newsquake.
Absolutely, absolutely. Why this has created such a massive earthquake in the political circles of West Bengal is the image. Had that money not been recovered from those apartments and incriminating documents alone were recovered, it wouldn't have had such an impact. The fact that, stashes of cash strewn all over the floor, like a pile of, cash, almost like a mountain of cash, something which is, so shocking and jarring. It's something that people have never seen in their lives. That has come to the forefront. It's become viral. People are making memes out of this image, and it's become the biggest talking point here in West Bengal, of course in Kolkata. And the Trinamool Congress leadership does understand that they can read the pulse of the people, the public sentiment. Of course, it'll take some time for them for it to settle things down, because the allegation that has been leveled by other opposition parties is that every time CBI, ED, these central agencies work, they become hyperactive just before the elections, and then everything dies down. We haven't seen much of action as far as Sharda case is concerned, Narda case is concerned. There hasn't been convictions yet. In some cases, there have been some charge sheet. So now the Trinamool Congress has also gone up, up in arms. They're saying that they have upped the ante in a sense. They're saying that, do it in a time frame there should be a short time frame in which this investigation should be completed. Initially, this was the reaction from the Trinamool Congress. They were trying to brazen it out, saying that, you know, the guilty will be punished. We don't support them. But what about the agencies? They should come clear and they should prove the charges. But what's happening right now, of course, is that yesterday's seizure has created a complete different, inertia. And therefore, the Trinamool Congress and the Mamata Banerjee government both had to, show some sort of a visible action. And that is exactly what we have seen today with Mamata Banerjee axing her cabinet colleague, very senior minister. Partha Chatterjee has been a minister in West Bengal in the Mamata Banerjee government from the very beginning, from 2011. More than a decade in governance. He has been the minister here in West Bengal. He was earlier the education minister, now in charge of a very crucial portfolio of the industry and commerce. So clearly come.
Yes. The big breaking story at this side, Rajdeeep Kundu joining us live on that. Thanks so much for taking us through those developments. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the 44th Chess Olympiad at the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in Chennai today after the prestigious event, which was originally scheduled to take place in Russia, was moved to Mahabalipuram on the outskirts of Chennai.
Oh, the people, oh, the people. Welcome to Namapuram, Chennai. Welcome to Namapuram, Chennai. Welcome to Namapuram, Chennai.
Chennai is saying Vanakkam to chess.
Vanakkam, Vanakkam. Welcome to Chennai. Vanakkam, Vanakkam. Welcome to Chennai.
The Tamil Nadu capital is all set to host the 44th Chess Olympiad. Preparations have been underway for days. The city has been painted black and white. There are chess boards everywhere. From the iconic Napier's Bridge to schools. The mascot for the Chess Olympiad is Thambi, a horse dressed in traditional Tamil attire of a veshti and shirt. A nationwide torch relay has already been underway.
Even when I came back as world champion in 2001, there was a wonderful ride through the city, and it was one of my treasured memories. But this one was even longer, and the police were walking the whole way. Many people greeted me from buses and cars. It was a very special experience.
On Thursday, Prime Minister Modi will inaugurate the Chess Olympiad at Chennai's Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium. The prestigious competition, which has been organized since 1927, is being hosted in India for the first time and in Asia after 30 years. With 187 countries participating, this will be the largest participation in any chess Olympiad so far. India is also fielding its biggest ever contingent in the competition, comprising 30 players across 6 teams. The event was to be hosted in Russia but has been moved to Chennai in the backdrop of the Ukraine war. The stage is set. It's time now for the chess champions to make their move. Gambit. Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, politics have erupted over the Chess Olympiad being held in Chennai after blackening the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's picture on billboards for the chess event, which were put by BJP workers. Prime Minister's picture has been added on posters in certain areas. The DMK worker who blackened the poster justified his act and said it was done in retaliation to the illegal move of the BJP. The spokesperson of Stalin's party also claimed that the centre has nothing to do with the chess event and all the credit goes to the state government. BJP hit back and said DMK is doing silly politics. The Saffron Party said the Prime Minister's photo should have been there on the posters as he is inaugurating the event. Prime Minister Modi will travel to Chennai to inaugurate the 44th Chess Olympiad being held at the JLN Indoor Stadium.
You can now play chess on the streets of Chennai, quite literally. I'm still figuring out my next move, but this is the beautiful, the iconic Napier's Bridge in Chennai, which has been converted into a chessboard. This is how it's looked really for the last few weeks, pictures of which quite literally broke the internet. And it's this kind of innovation, creativity that the government has shown in promoting the Chess Olympiad. The Napier's Bridge, of course, right above the famous Coombe River here, has been completely painted this way. I know there have been a lot of questions about whether it's dangerous for riders and for vehicles going on this road, but you can see that there's absolutely no problem. Besides this, there are several other stretches across the city where you'll see similar such, advertisements, similar such unique campaigns to spread the word on the Chess Olympiad. You can see that the excitement is very much high in the air. With just hours to go for the Chess Olympiad to kick off, it's expected that Prime Minister Modi will also take this road. There's huge security, as you just saw. There's constant patrolling. Police officers were stationed all across this entire area as well. Across the bridge and through the city. With Prime Minister Modi arriving, there's huge security deployment since last night, really. And for the last few days, there have been constant sanitization across this entire area as well. We're going to continue getting you all the latest updates from the ground and show you the excitement for the Chess Olympiad, one-of-a-kind historic event happening here in Chennai. With video journalist Sachin Chandok, this is Akshata Nandagopal reporting from Chennai for India Today.
The bigger problem here is that BJP has been constantly alleging that the Prime Minister's pic, one of the important pics, was missing from the hoardings earlier. DMK did not react to it, which led to BJP cadres going ahead and posting PM Modi's pic on these flag boards. And finally, it looks like DMK has buckled and several hoardings have been changed. However, these important ones on Anna Salai outside the metro stations have not been changed. One of DMK's spokesperson, Rajiv Gandhi, he has also come forward and said that it was MK Stalin who fought for it, and the Tamil Nadu government has spent 100 crores on this matter, and that's why it is completely DMK and the Tamil Nadu government saying, and the union government has nothing to do with. That way, he is trying to provide a reason. But the issue is, these are the flex boards which are talking about the Chess Olympiad, and here you have the central government symbol, Tamil Nadu government symbol, but what is missing is the Prime Minister's picture, which has turned out to be a very big issue now. With Vijay from Madhav for India Today.
எந்த மாநிலம் பாஜக ஆளுகிற மாநிலங்கள்லாம் குஜராத் உட்பட பல மாநிலங்கள் நிராகரிச்ச போது நான் நடத்துறேன்னு சொல்லி 100 கோடி ரூபாய் அரசு பணத்தை ஒதுக்கி இதை நடத்துவதற்கு போராடி அதை வாங்கி நடத்துற எல்லா வேலையும் செய்யறது தமிழ்நாடு அரசு. தமிழ்நாடு அரசு போராடி தமிழ்நாடு அரசை சொந்த பணத்துல நடத்துகிற தமிழ்நாடு முதல்வர் தளபதிக்கு தான் சேருமே ஒழிய மோடி மஸ்தானுகளுக்கு சேராது.
This DMK government is doing silly politics in this. It is not that the Prime Minister needs advertisement, publicity. As a responsible Chief Minister, if he is responsible, Mr. Stalin should have advised, he should have come forward, he should have advised the government to print Prime Minister's photos.
There is a custom and norms, procedure, protocols to be followed. Only I am appealing that they should, I think, with their wisdom, they will rectify the things. Already our Karyakartas are pasting Prime Minister's photo. That is okay, they are out of affection. But is the mandate, whatever the minimum courtesy to the authorities and state government who are the organizing committee.
Few BJP goons along with Amar Prasad Reddy had illegally stick the photo sticker of Modi on the advertisement that are kept by Tamil Nadu government. To retaliate this BJP's cheap politics, our Thandai Periyar Dravadar Kalagam movement cadres had defaced the picture of Modi with the black paint that was forcefully stick by the BJP goons today. And also we like to clarify that what we did is just a retaliation move to the illegal activity that BJP did in the morning.
Pramod Madhav also joining us live on this and the kind of politics unfolding there in Chennai around the Chess Olympiad. Pramod?
Ready.
Okay, Pramod, they're on ground right now and he's taking a look at how the scene is and he's going to share with us, a live report. Pramod, just take us through. It looks like, huge celebrations. They've really gone out to make this Olympiad a big success.
Certainly, we are currently standing at a junction called as Ribbon Building Junction. This is one of the oldest buildings in Tamil Nadu, called as the Ribbon Building. And opposite, you could see the BJP cadres who have joined over here, and they are waiting for the welcome of the Prime Minister. They have their own banners and everything, and they are waiting eagerly. And we are expecting the Prime Minister to reach the spot around probably around 6 p.m. That's the initiation that is given earlier. Here you have the BJP cadres and everyone. This is the 44th Chess Olympiad, and that's the reason such grand welcome is being given to the Prime Minister as well. As we speak, the Chief Minister has entered the venue just a couple of minutes ago, and all the players from several nations have come together. They are here. This Chess Olympiad, 44th Chess Olympiad, close to 1,404 players are going to play, and nearly 707 separate chessboards have been brought in for them. And the state government, Tamil Nadu government, has decided to make it to a separate function. However, there was an issue earlier about omission of the Prime Minister, and it looks like that is being brought in here, where the BJP cadres have come together to welcome him.
Right. So what are the protesters saying? Pramod, take us through a little bit more in terms of the back and forth that's ensuing. We've seen, of course, the whole, politics around the posters as well. What are the, the issues that the protesters are fighting against?
Well, it was a bit unfortunate because this was an event that was to be conducted simultaneously by the state government and the central government. But the BJP allegations earlier was that even though there was complete celebration from the Tamil Nadu government side, it was the Chief Minister's picture that was everywhere. So that turned out to be a huge issue. In fact, this pushed the BJP cadres earlier to go ahead and paste the Prime Minister Modi's picture on various advertisement hoardings that was kept by Tamil Nadu government, especially as bus stands and everything. What happened later is that especially the BJP leader senior Amar Prasad Reddy even asked the cadres to come forward and do so. Then what happened is that in a kind of like a surprise, in just a night time period, all the hoardings that were placed in bus stands and everything, there the Prime Minister's picture was kept. We went all the way to Mahabalipuram, and the overhead hoardings also, the pictures were kept, and that way it was actually kind of the Tamil Nadu government tried to show that the Prime Minister is a part of it. However, even now, DMK spokesperson and others claim that all the praise goes only to Tamil Nadu government and the Chief Minister, because the Tamil Nadu government has spent 100 crores and such. BJP is not happy.
Stay with us. We're going to come back to you, continue to get a sense of what's happening on ground. We've also got a reaction coming in from the Tamil Nadu BJP chief, in conversation with Akshita. Let's just cut across to that.
So the countdown is on to Prime Minister Modi touching down in Namma Chennai for the Chess Olympiad. It's a moment of great pride for the entire country. It's a moment of great pride for Tamil Nadu as well. I have with me the BJP Tamil Nadu President, Mr. Annamalai. Nice to finally meet you, Mr. Annamalai, in person here in Chennai.
Thank you.
Lot of excitement, of course, to the Prime Minister coming down for the Chess Olympiad. There's a lot of questions about who takes credit also for the Chess Olympiad.
Madam, we are very happy. Our Honorable Prime Minister has made sure that the Chess Olympiad is coming to Tamil Nadu. In fact, he tweeted in the morning. He's extremely happy to come to Tamil Nadu to inaugurate the event, and more than that, is very happy the Chess Olympiad has found its rightful place in the land of Tamil Nadu, because this is where the Chaturangam has started. The old kings and the old times, it was played as a war game. And right now it is happening in Mahabalipuram. I was told that this 44th Chess Olympiad has got the highest participation ever in its history. So we believe this is not the time to go political pot shots at anybody, because the whole world knows it is Prime Minister who brought it to India.
So what do you have to say to the DMK saying time and again that the central government hasn't done enough to promote the Chess Olympiad or given any funds, which is why they believe that this is a state government event?
Okay, now if you look at the DMK government per se, I see DMK government in two different ways. One, the DMK government when Kalaignar Karunanidhi was here as Chief Minister 5 times, and now Mr. M.K. Stalin as the Chief Minister for the last 15 months. And especially in the last 3-4 months, it's very unfortunate. Many of the actions of the state government are very amateurish, and sometimes it looks very childish and very kiddish also. So the Prime Minister himself is coming to Tamil Nadu, is not coming for a BJP event, is not coming for some other event, is coming for the Tamil Nadu people event. So that's how I would like to tell the DMK government that don't look at everything as a political battle. Political battle 2024, we will see. 2024, we are waiting for that, we will see. But these are all events which has to put Tamil Nadu first, India first, so that the whole world is watching today. What is happening in India, what is happening in Tamil Nadu.
All right, that's where we leave it on the show. Pramod, thanks for joining us. We'll stay on top of that story as well. But coming up next, Partha Chatterjee sacked from all ministries amidst Bengal cash for jobs scandal. We bring you the details when we return.
You are watching India Today.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
You are watching India Today.
I have a quick game to play with you all. That's called Never Have I Ever. But
वो जो मास्क पहन के और निकाल के.
so if you have done it, you'll wear the mask. If you haven't,
Okay, so if you've done it, we wear it. If you've not, okay. So we keep it off. Okay.
okay. So quickly, never have I ever with the team. Never have I ever played a villain in someone else's love story.
So if we have, then we wear it. If we haven't, we don't.
Don't wear it.
But what if I believe I was the hero of that?
You can wear
Which you
it.
most probably did.
Yeah.
So you can.
I mean, what is the... What?
No, not in the
No.
Not, I don't think so, no.
Okay, alright. Never have I ever missed a flight.
I mean, I don't want to jinx it.
No?
I've never missed it.
Wow.
Ovari.
Okay. Never have I ever gotten lost in a foreign country.
Well, that we all do.
Ooh, okay.
जब तक Google नहीं था, Google बाबा नहीं थे हमारी लाइफ में.
Okay.
उसके साथ भी lost होता है.
You get lost, yeah,
पर वो
actually.
थोड़ा 200 मीटर तक ही होता है. You can manage the one wrong turn. You can manage.
Right. Never have I ever crashed a wedding.
No, I've never crashed a wedding.
No, I'm not. Wow, I wish I did. But like,
Okay. Never have
I
I.
haven't though.
I would
sorry.
have thought you would have.
No.
Never have I ever snooped through someone else's stuff.
Snoop through somebody else.
Yeah, that's you know.
So many friends and all. Yeah.
Okay. Never have I ever deleted a post on social media because it didn't get enough likes.
No, I deleted it because of a very weird caption that I didn't realize it was.
So yeah, yes.
I've deleted stuff because I have this OCD about वो अगर अच्छा नहीं लगता तो मैं delete. Like visually when you see Instagram sometimes वो सर कट गया या कुछ हो गया तो फिर मैं delete कर देता हूँ. हाँ फिर मैं.
So आप पहन लो mask. ठीक है. So last question. Never have I ever left someone on red.
मतलब.
पढ़ के छोड़ दिया.
Okay.
अच्छा.
I do this
all the time.
By mistake.
Okay.
I'm
No,
very bad with my
I'm very.
कोई होता है ना दिमाग में आंसर दे देते हैं और टाइप करके.
I'm very prompt with my cellular. But only during marketing I've realized what happens is you read a message and you're about to, and then you're doing an interview or you're going some and you forget that you've typed it but not replied it. But I intentionally have never done it.
तो उसके लिए मास्क पहनना नहीं पहनेंगे.
Because वो सिर्फ हर 10-15 दिन में हर पिक्चर के लिए होता है वरना नॉर्मल जिंदगी में नहीं होता.
You are watching India Today.
Another day, another cash mountain. Nearly 50 crore rupees in cold black cash. Five kilograms of seized gold ornaments. Numerous property papers. The big Bengal black buck bust. BJP guns for Mamata herself. Game over for Mantri Partha. Well, it's game over for Mantri Partha, but he continues to be a General Secretary and member of Mamata's Trinamool Congress. He's head of the disciplinary committee, which is a joke in itself. And the mountains of cash linked to him are getting higher and higher and higher. I'm going to show you just how high. Right here on 5 Live, I'm Shiv Arur. These are the headlines. Partha Chatterjee sacked as Bengal Minister. India Today tells you 1 hour before everyone else. Mamata Banerjee says she and her party are very strict. Clearly not strict enough. Smriti Irani and Sonia Gandhi in a furious parliament face-off over Congress's Rashtrapatni jibe. BJP says Congress chief abused the minister. Congress accuses Smriti of heckling misbehavior. BJP seeks Sonia's apology after Adhir Ranjan calls President Draupadi Murmu Rashtrapatni. Under fire, Congress MP says he will personally say sorry to the president, not to BJP chores. Two accused arrested over murder of BJP worker Praveen in coastal Karnataka. Cops probing PFI link. Chief Minister Bommai wants ban on the radical outfit. India Today accesses CCTV images of the murder plot. Ugly political stalemate over Modi and Stalin poster at the Chennai Chess Olympiad that kicks off in an hour from now. Day after BJP glues Modi posters, DMK workers blacken them. Ugly politics. Modi will be landing at 6. If it isn't an India Today news break, it's not worth looking at. And that's the reason why India Today broke the news of Partha Chatterjee's sacking as a West Bengal minister a whole hour before anyone else, making an absolute fool of political reporters and editors in other news organizations. Partha Chatterjee has been relieved from his ministerial duties. He's been sacked from all the ministerial portfolios he holds. Mamata Banerjee has also spoken out on Partha Chatterjee's sacking 6 days after India Today broke those incredible images of the cash found in his friend Arpita Mukherjee's house. Mamata Banerjee says the Trinamool is a very strict party. Bundles of cash have been recovered from a girl's house, cash which is being shown everywhere. This will not change the perception of the party. That's what she hopes. There is a big play, will not reveal at the moment, says Mamata Banerjee, being especially mysterious. She's been politically cornered over 6 days into cutting her losses and sacking one of her closest ministers from his ministry portfolios. Partha Chatterjee has been sacked from the government, but he is still a member of the Trinamool Congress itself. India Today's news break about his imminent sacking came 1 hour before the axe actually fell on Partha Chatterjee. He continues to be in enforcement directorate, as does his close friend Arpita Mukherjee, who is a Bengali actor. Both are in serious trouble over the incredible, vulgar mountains of cash that have been recovered from Arpita's residence. The link to Partha Chatterjee, the enforcement directorate is investigating at this point of time. But the link to Mamata Banerjee is what the BJP is going after, saying that the Chief Minister of West Bengal, by sacking the minister, cannot wash her hands of this disgusting cash scam. It was a cash for jobs scam as part of a recruitment scheme under the West Bengal government. And therefore, the opposition BJP says, how can Mamata Banerjee simply distance herself from this absolute outrage? Partha Chatterjee is in custody. He is still being questioned. Just yesterday, even more cash was recovered. Today, gold ornaments have been recovered. A total cost viewer of 50 crore rupees in material, cash and gold jewelry. That is the kind of value we're looking at. 50 crore rupees spread across just 2 properties. How they smuggled that much cash into that residence of Arpita Mukherjee's is something that I'm going to be breaking to you here on India Today in just a few minutes from now. Partha Mukherjee being dropped from his ministry portfolios is only step 1, but it has only galvanized the opposition BJP even more because he is still a member of the Trinamool Congress. Let's go across to India Today's Indrajit joining us live from Kolkata. Indrajit, the axe finally falling on Partha Chatterjee. We reported 1 hour before the axe actually falls. What about his membership of the Trinamool Congress? Is that axe going to fall as well?
Well, there is a lot of possibility that he will be axed from his party post because he is a Secretary General of the party. He has been with the party from the very inception. So he is very, very crucial to the entire operations of the Trinamool Congress. Now, whether he will lose his primary membership of the party, that's not very clear. But there is a massive possibility that he will also be removed from the post of Secretary General of the Trinamool Congress. In fact, Shiv, what is crucial is that the Trinamool Congress Disciplinary Committee is in a huddle right now at the Trinamool Congress headquarters in Kolkata. And Partha Chatterjee was one of the members of the disciplinary committee. So it's ironic that the same disciplinary committee is meeting in Kolkata right now to take a decision on him. And it will be chaired, of course, by Trinamool Congress MP Abhishek Banerjee. So just a short while back, Mamata Banerjee spoke out saying that Partha Chatterjee has been removed from the cabinet. We can expect very soon Partha Chatterjee to be removed as Secretary General of the party as well.
Indra, stay with me. You know, just the mountains of cash that have been recovered from Arpita Mukherjee's residence, all of it linked to Partha Chatterjee, the minister who's just been sacked, is something that has not only gone viral, but it has riveted viewers across the country. Imagine a huge pile of cash of this kind found in just one room of one house. 21 crores in cash this is what it actually looked like. We've recreated that cash pile because the size was around this. This is what the Enforcement Directorate recovered from just one residence of Arpita Mukherjee on day one. After that, 27.9 crores in cash was recovered on July the 27th. Once again, those images were first here on India Today. That's what 27.9 crore rupees in cash actually looks like. So two big cash hauls. First, the big mountain, the huge pile, ugly pile of cash, and then the 27.9 crore, both adding up to just under 50 crore rupees. But how many notes? Kitne note the isme? Let's tell you. 50 crore rupees approximately has been recovered from those two properties. There were 2,000 rupee notes and there were 500 rupee notes. If you calculate it, 1,25,000 2,000 rupee notes adds up to 25 crore rupees, and 500,000 500 rupee notes adds up to the other 25 crore, making a total of the 50 crore that we're talking about. Of course, there was some gold jewelry as well, but if you're curious about the number of notes that have been recovered, that's what those numbers really look like. It's really sickening, it's vulgar, it's incredible, and it's taken 6 days for this minister to be sacked. He's still a member of the Trinamool. Now, the Enforcement Directorate is only intensifying its probe into this big Bengal cash for jobs scam. In an overnight raid, the agency recovered nearly 28 crores. That's the latest haul from another of Arpita Mukherjee's flats in Belgaria. Gold and jewelry worth 4.31 crore was also seized. With this, like I said, nearly 50 crore rupees in total has been recovered from Arpita's home. Here's the very latest on these riveting mountains of cash.
Endless bundles of cash, which took the ED 10 hours to count, using multiple cash counting machines loaned from banks. Huge pile of gold ornaments. It was another day of ED raids and another cash mountain surfacing. The second raid on Partha's aide, Arpita's second home, helped the ED net a massive 29 crore black cash haul, apart from 5 kgs of gold ornaments. The ED stumbling upon nearly 50 crores in total from Arpita so far. The agency had to use 10 large trunks to transport the seized cash.
Cash was kept inside the bedroom. Not only that, some cash was recovered from the bathroom. It was kept in a cabin inside a cabinet of wash basin. That reveals, there are many more to unfold it. And Enforcement Directorate is probing this matter. And opposition's claim this is just tip of an iceberg.
The BJP saw clear role of Mamata herself, calling the Chief Minister a thief who looted young job aspirants using her minister.
जो ममता बनर्जी 100% जोड़ी थे पार्थ चैटर्जी के साथ, पूरा स्कैम के साथ वो जोड़ी थे. ऊपर से पैसा गिरा नहीं. आप चोरी करेंगे और आप बोलेंगे भाई हमको क्यों पकड़ रहे हैं. ममता बनर्जी खुद चोर है. ममता बनर्जी पश्चिम बंगाल में पूरा भारत का सबसे बड़ा घोटाला का मास्टर है.
The ED has revealed that Arpita is cooperating with the probe, adding that Arpita has even admitted that the cash pile indeed belongs to disgraced TMC Neta Partha Chatterjee. With Munish Pandey in Delhi and Ritik Mandal in Kolkata, Bureau Report, India Today.
And now if you've been wondering how 50 crores in cash was smuggled into just a couple of residences, we've now exclusively accessed information on how Partha Chatterjee's aide, Arpita, managed to hide nearly 50 crore rupees in cash in her flats without being detected so far. Now, the bags of cash were stashed inside cupboards. The cash was wrapped in white paper and tape to evade detection. Packets with the 2,000 rupee denomination were present, as we've shown you. The cash packets were stashed behind many layers of clothes. That's how they were discovered, we are told. Cash bundles of about 50 lakh rupees each was stashed behind the clothes. Jewelry worth about 4.31 crores was kept in lockers inside the residence. And there was a West Bengal government envelope also containing a few lakh rupees in cash. So these are the detailed breakup pieces of data of how Arpita Mukherjee, allegedly in collusion with Partha Chatterjee, the sacked minister, and Mamata Banerjee's close aide, was hiding such a monumental amount of cash. 500,500 rupee notes, 1,25,000, 2,000 rupee notes, lots of gold jewelry, all stashed in cupboards, wrapped in white paper and tape, and hidden behind clothes in a series of cupboards. That's how this stuff was actually discovered by the Enforcement Directorate when India Today first broke those images last Friday. Arpita Mukherjee and Partha Chatterjee continue to be in Enforcement Directorate custody for at least the next few days. His sacking of as Minister of West Bengal makes his situation even more precarious. It looks like, as Indrajit Kundu was just telling us, that his membership of the Trinamool Congress is also likely to be taken away from him in a few short minutes or hours from now. We're sensing that the rug is being pulled out from one of the closest ministers to Mamata Banerjee. Mamata Banerjee has gone into full crisis damage control mode. She says her party is a very strict party, even though they took 6 days to sack a minister from whose friend's house they've, the ED has recovered 50 crore rupees in just the last few days. So we leave it for our viewers to decide how strict that actual party is. But let's go across to India Today's Munish Pandey, who's been leading a crack team of reporters who've been bringing us and breaking every layer and every angle and twist and turn of this saga. Remember, it was Munish who broke those first images last Friday, 6 days ago, of that monumental mountain of cash. Munish, Partha Chatterjee axed as minister. What next as far as the Enforcement Directorate investigation is concerned? But before we come to that, Munish, you've brought us details of how this cash was actually, stealthily taken into those houses and then hidden in that very expert kind of manner.
Yeah, well, Shiv, as far as the investigation into this case is concerned, what sources within the Enforcement Directorate have told India Today that not only Partha Chatterjee, but there are several TMC leaders who are under scanner of the Enforcement Directorate. At least in next 1 week, 2 persons are going to be arrested by the Enforcement Directorate. There are several people linked to Partha Chatterjee who are being summoned. Their statements have been recorded. But as far as the evidence is concerned, remember, Shiv, the Enforcement Directorate was acting on this case since there was the order from the Calcutta High Court to act on this case. But after those raids, the amount of cash they recovered, and especially the envelope belonging to the Ministry of Partha Chatterjee, it was a clinching evidence for the Enforcement Directorate. And when they started recording statement of Arpita Mukherjee, she is the one who first confessed that this money belongs to Partha Chatterjee. So as far as their investigation is concerned, they are quite confident that they have got the right guy, and soon they will be arresting many more people in this case. Now, as far as how this money was being hidden into those apartments, remember, 2 apartments belonging to Arpita Mukherjee have been raided by the enforcement directorate in last 1 week.
Yeah.
In the first apartment of Arpita Mukherjee, the money was kept in the cupboards only in one room, and that room was kept completely locked. No one was allowed to go inside apart from Arpita Mukherjee. But in the second flat, this money was kept in a very tidy and neat manner, packed in a envelope, white color envelope, looking like a parcel, in a very cheap bag. The officers who raided those premises, they have told me that they even didn't suspect that there could be such a huge amount of cash lying in those cheap bags.
Yeah.
But there were certain lockers also. The ED had to break those lockers, and then they recovered not only 50 crore cash but also.
So Munish, are you saying it's possible that the Enforcement Directorate could summon or possibly even arrest other members of the government or the Trinamool? That's a possibility?
There is a very high possibility issue, and this is something which I've been told by a very, very senior officer of Enforcement Directorate. What ED is claiming at this point of time is that Partha Chatterjee is one of the person who was involved in this entire recruitment scam. But after this recovery of cash, after recording several statements, they have got lead of other scams also in the government. They will follow the lead, but only in the teachers recruitment scam, they have come across several people who are still part of the government. There are several leaders of TMC who are still active, but they might have played a very important role as far as this entire scam is concerned. So there is a high possibility that many people connected to the TMC party, there are many people connected to Partha Chatterjee. They will not be only questioned, but also they might be arrested in coming days.
Very, very big piece of breaking news that Munish Pandey breaking here on India Today, as always, that there could be more people from the government of Mamata Banerjee or the Trinamool Congress who could be summoned by the Enforcement Directorate or possibly even taken into custody for questioning in this entire cash for jobs racket. It doesn't stop with Partha Chatterjee or Arpita Mukherjee. It could go higher. This could get much, much more embarrassing for Mamata Banerjee. We'll have to see how high it goes and how far it goes. Munish breaking that story is always first here on India Today. I want to get a political, a bit of political insight into how Mamata Banerjee is going to be navigating this. Rajdeep Sardesai, our consulting editor, has been looking very closely at all these unfolding developments. Rajdeep, Partha Chatterjee finally sacked as a minister in the Mamata Banerjee government. How do you see, how Mamata is going to navigate the rest of this entire crisis for her and her government?
Well, it is no surprise, Shiv, that Partha Chatterjee has been sacked. The pressure was building on Mamata Banerjee to act against her loyalists. And because he's been loyal to Mamata Banerjee through good times and bad, that's perhaps one reason why Mamata Banerjee took so long to act against the minister. Because really, prima facie, given the fact that he's been arrested, given the mountains of cash that have been found at his aides' residences, it was becoming untenable to retain the minister. There was pressure from within the party and more importantly from outside, from the opposition BJP, that was proving to be an embarrassment for Mrs. Banerjee, and she had no option really but to sack her minister to try and distance herself and almost disown Partha Chatterjee.
Rajdeep, how is this affecting the kind of feud that we saw within the Trinamool, before the actual sacking? We saw people like Kunal Ghosh speaking out. There's word of, factions breaking out over, Partha's sacking. Now that he's been sacked, what next within the Trinamool?
I think this is a very interesting question, Shiv. The factionalism within the Trinamool Congress that has been playing out now for several months. There is a sense that there are the old loyalists like Partha Chatterjee around Mamata Banerjee, and then there is the new guard around her nephew Abhishek Banerjee. Now, while some of the talk of friction may be exaggerated, there is a battle within the party clearly, particularly over the powers that Abhishek Banerjee wields, which the old guard have felt at times has meant sidelining or marginalizing them. And you could argue that with Partha Chatterjee being exposed, being arrested, the Abhishek Banerjee faction in a way gets more dominant. But remember, Abhishek himself has ED inquiries going against him. So in a sense, I think the party will have to come together at a time where the BJP wants to exploit these divisions and will see a wounded Mamata Banerjee in a way as someone who they wish to target. So perhaps the fear of the BJP will eventually, or at least for now, unite these factions. For how long? We don't know. There's a lot of buzz in Kolkata about more ministers who could be in the firing line of the ED. So we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out.
Rajdeep, always appreciate you. And the big chess Olympiad in Chennai is all set to kick off in just about half an hour from now. Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, will be landing there very shortly. Let's just listen into some of the sounds coming in from the build-up event. An absolutely beautiful rendition of Ma Tujhe Salam by A.R. Rahman, one of his most famous songs being played at the curtain raiser event for the Chennai Chess Olympiad that opens in just a couple of moments from now. Okay, that's the compere there speaking in Tamil. I want to just go across to our reporters, Pramod Madhav and Akshita, both on the ground at the Chennai Chess Olympiad. Pramod, quickly coming to you first. Beautiful songs coming from the inside. Everyone waiting for Prime Minister Modi and the Chief Minister to arrive.
It absolutely is, Siv, and that's a song called Thai Bande Vanakkam by A.R. Rahman, and it is a song that actually, it is an amazing song, and in fact, we are standing outside and everybody here are waiting for the Prime Minister. In fact, on the other side, a large crowd is trying to cross over now also. So many people have gathered to welcome the Prime Minister, and the event as scheduled has started, and it's just like another 500 meters from here inside Nehru Stadium, where a large, grand event has been organized for this 44th FID the chess Olympiad that is going to happen, that is happening in Chennai's Mahabalipuram. In fact, the Chief Minister has very clearly mentioned that it will be made monumental, and the emblem, the symbol for this particular Olympiad is a stallion dressed in the traditional shirt and dhoti and with a tattoo on his hand called as Dumpy. Whereas here the crowd has gathered, they are coming over here and they are waiting to welcome the Prime Minister. You could see the banners and everything, everybody waiting eagerly to see the Prime Minister as well. This is an event that is being promoted by the central government and the state government to make, and among the people of Chennai, it has garnered a large support already. People have been waiting here since 4 p.m. eagerly for the Prime Ministership.
Stay with me, Pramod. I want to go to Akshita as well. Akshita, what are you seeing? Fever pitch, huge, transformation in Mahabalipuram for the chess Olympiad. Everyone waiting for the big netas to arrive as well.
That's right, Shiv. Through the day, the city of Chennai has been black and white. Now add saffron also to it. Scores of BJP workers who have gathered here, waiting for Prime Minister Modi to touch down. You can see all of the workers gathered here in large numbers, chanting Bharat Mata Ki Jai slogans. Who thought, Shiv, that you'd hear Bharat Mata Ki Jai slogans in the city of Chennai? But the chess Olympiad excitement is clearly here. You can see all of it, all these BJP workers gathered here to welcome Prime Minister Modi. He's expected here any moment now. And look at the kind of grand setup that's been put ahead. There's a temple-like setup right here, bang in the middle of the road, Shiv, to welcome Prime Minister Modi. And you've got scores of young girls, Bharatanatyam dancers, all gathered to welcome the Prime Minister. He's expected here in about 5-10 minutes, after which the ceremony also, which you've been showing us at the Nehru Stadium, will kick off with the Prime Minister's address as well. So you see all these little girls dressed up, decked up. They're going to be there to personally welcome Prime Minister Modi with song and dance. They've been performing beautiful Bharatanatyam steps here, all together, all in unison. And you can see all of these musicians are also mridangams here. So it's festive atmosphere, something like we've never seen on the streets of Chennai. We've been reporting through the day, Shiv, on the kind of colour and how literally the whole city has turned black and white. And now along this entire stretch through which Prime Minister Modi will come down and wave to the crowds, hold this very symbolic roadshow. You're seeing it turn completely saffron as well. Huge security deployment as expected along this entire stretch. But while we've been reporting on all of the politics that's been playing out, Shiv, the centre versus state, who takes credit, etc., at this moment, it's about the excitement for the chess Olympiad. The recognition that this is a historic event, and every single person in the state of Tamil Nadu right now extremely, extremely excited. It's palpable in the air as well.
It's really palpable, and lucky you, Akshita, getting to be there on such a prestigious day. Tamil Nadu has a wonderful legacy and a connection with chess. You've got Rajnikant sitting in the audience there. Let's just listen in. Let's just dip in for a moment and listen before we go to Akshaya. Can we just dip in? There's Rajnikant. You can see many other actors. He's there with his family. Live pictures from inside of the superstar. Let's get some audio before we go to Akshaya.
Here we have Odissi.
Celebrations in this inaugural event. Let me take you outside for a moment and then I'll come right back. I promise I don't want you to miss any of these wonderful images. Artists performing their dances, lots of music. A.R. Rahman is there, Rajnikant is there. lots of action happening. MK Stalin, the Chief Minister, is there. The Prime Minister are going to be arriving in just about 30 minutes from now. Akshaya is right outside. Akshaya, what are you seeing? All the mood there with you.
This is a very electrifying atmosphere. What we can see, a lot of celebration, a lot of ways in which the BJP and the state government have arranged to invite and welcome Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Here, let my camera person show you, the kind of decorations that they've done on the way to the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium. This will be the road through which, we'll be seeing Prime Minister Narendra Modi passing. Seen that, images of Lord Shiva and Durga Devi have all been set up in a state like Tamil Nadu, which is always talking about, neutral Dravidianism and not about any kind of religion. And here we are seeing the BJP show of strength. I have with me the BJP's Youth Wing President, Vinod. Vinod, can you tell us the kind of arrangement that you have made here? We're seeing that huge celebrations are out here on the day of the Chess Olympiad.
So the Prime Minister had come about a couple of months back to Chennai. What we saw more than 2 months back, the crowd today is almost double of what was there. People are so enthusiastic. The central government, the Narendra Modi government, which has always encouraged sports at a very big level, has provided the opportunity for Tamil Nadu to host the chess conclave. And it's of huge prestige and importance to the country and to Tamil Nadu.
You know, at a time when we're seeing the poster wars and things between the state and the centre of a sort, between the BJP and the DMK to be more precise, are you showing that the BJP is making its inroad much more stronger than what is expected?
See, it was very silly of the state government to not include the photos of the Prime Minister. Today, even the High Court has come down heavily on the state government for not including pictures of the Prime Minister and the President of India. This is a very prestigious event. This event, an event of this size, needs both the support of centre and state governments to happen. So in such a scenario, it would have been nicer, it would have been more cordial, and there are people from 188 countries coming. Now all these people from abroad, all these international players, everyone knows Narendra Modi. In that sense, it is very important to showcase our Prime Minister. He is not just a BJP leader, he is the Prime Minister of India. So in that scenario, in that case, it was very important that the state government should have done this by themselves. Now BJP has put up several hoardings, posters, flags everywhere. We are welcoming our Prime Minister. We are so proud and happy that Tamil Nadu has the opportunity today.
That was Vinod talking to us. He's the youth wing leader for the BJP in the state of Tamil Nadu. We can see the kind of preparations and the show of strength that has been put forward by the BJP here. This is also a kind of a message that the party is trying to send in, and we'll be seeing that in minutes from now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be passing through this very point. Shiv, let me remind you, this was the very location last time where Prime Minister Narendra Modi had stopped his vehicle and waved at the crowd, and these children were performing even last time as well. So you know, a lot.
Come back to you. I want to go back inside the stadium. Let's put the sound up on those beautiful performances.
Minister M.K. Stalin in the house. The Prime Minister will be arriving very, very shortly. I don't want our viewers to miss any part of this wonderful audio, visual, and this performance. Let's just soak it in. Let's play it out for you.
இந்த மாதிரி பிரமிக்க வைக்கும் ஒரு பெர்ஃபார்மன்ஸ் பார்த்து அதை வர்ணிக்கிறதுக்கு கண்டிப்பா வார்த்தைகள் இருக்கவே முடியாது. Just one line. Unity in diversity. வேற்றுமையில் ஒற்றுமை. That is our India. That is our country. Our motherland. Ladies and gentlemen, doesn't this moment just make your heart swell with pride? And for all our participants, we'd like to welcome in each and every one of you to our motherland, our India. Vanakkam and welcome once again. அடுத்ததாக பன்னாட்டு சதுரங்க கூட்டமைப்பின் நாட்டுப்பண் பாடலுக்காக அனைவரையும் தாழ்மையுடன் எழுந்து நிற்குமாறு கேட்டுக்கொள்கிறோம். Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to request all of you to rise for the FIDE anthem. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You may be seated. Moving along, may we now invite India's Women Chess Grandmaster, Ms. Kunal Ghosh, to administer the Players' Pledge. அரங்கம் நிறைந்த கைத்தட்டல்களுடன் let's welcome Ms. Kunal Ghosh. Over to you, ma'am.
In the name of the athletes, we pledge to participate in the 44th Chess Olympiad, observing and respecting the FIDE rules and regulations of sportsmanship and fair play. As chess players, we promise a sport honoring all participants, our teams, and the FIDE Charter. Thank you all for the love and support.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Next, we'd now like to invite on stage Mr. Laurent Freud, Chief Arbiter of the Olympiad, to administer the Arbiter's Pledge.
In the name of all arbiters and officials, we pledge that we shall officiate in the 44th Chess Olympiad with complete impartiality, administering and honoring the FIDE rules which govern chess in the true spirit and principles of fair play and sportsmanship.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, we've got first images of Prime Minister Modi, who's landed in Chennai. He's going to be at the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in just a short while. Border, you know, very much in the spirit of the Chess Olympiad. Akshita, I don't know if you've been able to look at this picture. I hope you have been able to see it on your phone. But Prime Minister Modi, you know, ever the politician, keeping the circumstance and the event on top of his mind, wearing a chessboard veshti.
Presenting to you the very talented Lydian Nadaswaram. Shiv, I had told you earlier, a couple of hours ago, that this was going to happen because you know, I had a conversation with the BJP and they were very mockingly and sportingly saying, we're going to gift Prime Minister Modi this veshti with the, you know, chessboard essentially on the veshti. So they were planning to gift it to him. But they did tell me that we're not sure if he's going to wear it because, you know, this is a very last moment decision. But it looks like the Prime Minister has obliged. He's decided to get into the spirit of the Chess Olympiad and hence is sporting the colours that have essentially become synonymous with Chennai now, black and white. He's expected here any moment now. People are gathering in large numbers, but the fact that the Prime Minister also has decided to indulge in the spirit of the Chess Olympiad and how so many parts of Chennai, Shiv, have now turned completely black and white. You've got a road imagined that's a chessboard now. So considering all that's been happening, the huge buzz that we've been seeing for weeks now, it looks like Prime Minister Modi has also gotten into the spirit. He's touched down in Chennai. He is in fact from INS Adyar, which is very close to where I am. He's going to be driving down this entire stretch, along this entire road, where hundreds of BJP workers have also gathered. There's a huge setup here. People, in fact, from across Tamil Nadu have gathered here. BJP workers have all come together from across the state to give a vanakkam to Prime Minister Modi. You know, you can see so many boards, posters all around me hailing Prime Minister Modi, calling him the king of the BJP, the one-man army, the Grand Master of India as well. So the BJP has gone all out here. Can you believe, Shiv, a couple of years ago when we were reporting in Chennai, that you'd ever see this kind of a massive BJP show of strength on the streets of Chennai? The Bharatiya Janata Party is sending out a political message also by ensuring that these kind of crowds gather when the Prime Minister, and every single time that the Prime Minister touches down now in Chennai, scenes that you see in other parts of the country, you're now starting to see in Chennai as well. So it's very intentional. But yes, as you pointed out, the Prime Minister also now in the black and white with the veshti in this the checkered pattern there on the veshti.
Very, very interesting. Keeping those images on air, let's dive back into what's happening in the inaugural session. A blindfolded pianist.
Lydian, you can tell that everybody is awestruck with your performance, your gifts. Can you take it one step further? We know that you played blindfolded and you doubled up the speed. But what else do you have on offer today?
Now I'm going to do a special performance. As everyone knows, I'm going to do a Hollywood theme medley. And I'm going to do a special thing in this medley, that is, in my right hand, I'm going to play Harry Potter. Okay. And in my left hand, I'm going to play Mission Impossible simultaneously.
Wow.
So that'll be the special performance.
We're waiting with bated breath. All the best. gentlemen. Wasn't that absolutely amazing? Lydian, you've mentioned in multiple interviews that you want to play on the moon someday. But I just want to tell you that your performance today ensured that we were all over the moon just listening to you. All the very best for a very bright future, Lydian. Ladies and gentlemen, as we await the arrival of one of our honorable chief guests, we have yet another wonderful performance coming your way. India's premier and most sought-after sand artist, Sarvam Patel, ladies and gentlemen. S. Sarvam Patel works his magic. On popular request, by public demand, we have before you, once again, ladies and gentlemen, the young genius, the prodigy, the super talented Lydian Nadaswaram.
of Prime Minister Narendra Modi en route to the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in Chennai. Remember where the event has started, and of course Prime Minister Modi is scheduled to be inaugurating the event in just about the next few minutes. But what mega celebrations that have been initiated. Prime Minister Modi there waving to the supporters who've been present, but remember, heavy deployment. A lot of dance and colour also that has been presented, not just inside the stadium, but also for the arrival of the Prime Minister, for the dignitaries, for the participants. Take a look at that. Young performers there, dancing right when Prime Minister Modi has entered into the stadium as well, acknowledging all these people who've been present there outside as well. Pramod Madhav joining me now from Chennai, tracking the latest. Pramod, before, of course, it's a serious tournament that's scheduled to begin, but there is a lot of culture, colour of the state, of the country that's being presented to the international dignitaries as well, and Prime Minister Modi just about to arrive now.
Absolutely, Pooja. The sculptures and colors are a part of the state, and that's the reason it's being depicted. It's a part of our country, and it's been exposed in such a way that the people, the players from other countries would get to notice them all. And here I'm trying to show you the entire stretch, which is covered by BJP cadres, by PM Modi supporters. Everybody are standing at this location, waiting for the arrival. On one side, just like half a kilometer from where we're standing, we have the Nehru Stadium, where the event is rolling up. The Chief Minister is already inside, and various players are being they have brought in their flags, and a huge ceremony, a very prestigious and amazing ceremony has already started. We had Lydian Nadaswaram, who's one of the fastest piano players. He was inside. He has given us a show over there, and everybody are eagerly waiting for the Prime Minister, who has started from INS Adyar and on his way. Last time it was a big surprise for the supporters of the BJP cadres and everyone, because the convoy was very slow. The Prime Minister took his time. He thanked everybody who was standing over there, who were waiting for him for hours, and it was an amazing roadshow at that point. It was not at all planned. So here also today, large amount of people have gathered. They are expecting another roadshow. They want to see the Prime Minister, and that's why you could see, though the roads are empty, on either side of the road, a large crowd has gathered. Everybody waiting for the Prime Minister.
Tamil Nadu administration and the government has left no stone unturned to ensure that this gets as mega event as possible. I mean, just looking at these visuals, not only inside the stadium but outside, what all has been planned? What all can you see around you? Because all I can see are these colors and events of music, a sand artist, musicians, all of that. And it's absolutely fabulous to watch what has been presented.
It is definitely amazing, and the collaborators for this event was A.R. Rahman, Vignesh Shivan, and various other top artists from the state. Already one of the important bridges in the Chennai called as Napier Bridge, that entire place has been converted into a checkboard. It is quite amazing, because within just a 2 weeks time period, what has happened is that chess has gained so much prominence in the state of Tamil Nadu. In fact, if I had to tell you, each and every electric junction box in the state has been painted black and white, and in fact the former Chief Minister Karunanidhi, that is the Chief Minister's father's memorial, that has also been converted into a black and white checkered board, so that way it looks like entire city of
Pramod,
Chennai
while of course this is the state and the country flaunting the best of its talent, whether it's in art, whether it's in music, there's also veteran actor Rajnikanth with his daughter. He's arrived at the inauguration ceremony. We also saw chess legend Vishwanathan Anand, who's been also giving coaching and training to an extent to the Indian delegation. So, of course, it's the who's who present at this Olympiad inauguration event today.
It absolutely is. Just like you mentioned, Rajnikanth has been showing interest in chess for a long time, and that's the reason even today he posted a picture of him playing chess long time back on social media. And not just that, one of the important stars of chess, just like you mentioned, there are several grandmasters from the state of Tamil Nadu, and the recent and most prominent one is Pragyananda. So what Rajnikanth did was that he invited Pragyananda and his family. His sister Vaishali is also a very prominent women grandmaster Master. He had spoken to them. Earlier we spoke to Vaishali, and she said that it was a memorable moment speaking with Rajinikanth. So that way he has shown very
So politicians, actors, musicians, everyone's been able to now come and attend this event. This is, of course, apart from the delegations and dignitaries that have come from across the world. Stay on with me, Pramod, because Akshita Nandgopal has been speaking to not only the netas but the residents in Chennai. Akshita, over to you. What are people telling you? What is the ground mood like with India becoming the first time hosting the Chess Olympiad in Asia after 30 years?
Teachers come inside. Yeah, Pooja, I hope you can hear me through the audio.
I can. Yes,
we just saw this grand show of support for Prime Minister Modi as he went by here from the BJP. I have with me Mr. Vinod Selvam as well. Grand welcome for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. There's a huge sense of pride for every Tamilian today, isn't there, over the Chess Olympiad?
Absolutely. We are very thankful to the Prime Minister for giving Chennai the chance to host such a prestigious event. I think it's happening for the first time in India, and Tamil Nadu should be really proud of hosting it. This shows the kind of love and affection the Prime Minister has towards the state, and he is here today to inaugurate the ceremony himself. We all remember that a month back he had started the torch relay, the first of its kind, which went to 75 different iconic places in the country, and then it reached Mahabalipuram, where the event is going to be taking place. Today India has been put on the global map with regards to a sporting event, and India is a country where chess was born and played first, and we have produced several grandmasters. But it was unfortunate that the sport was not celebrated as much. But today, if you walk around the city, in fact the entire of the state, you will find chess being celebrated so much. Students wanting to learn the game, and we are so thrilled and honored that our Honorable Prime Minister is come here. He's with us in Chennai today. In a span of 2 months, he was here 2 months back to inaugurate several projects, and again he's here today, and we're excited, absolutely excited.
You know what's going viral is also the pictures of Prime Minister Modi. He's dressed traditionally in a veshti, and also with the chess, the black and white theme that's spreading across the city right now. So even as the Prime Minister is clearly soaked in the mood, there's been a lot of questions about whether the central government deserves credit here, whether most of the steps have been taken by the Stalin government, about whether it's the campaigns in Chennai or spreading the word, or even ensuring that it happens in Tamil Nadu. The Stalin government has said, look, we did everything.
See, any event of this size needs two governments to cordially act with each other. Only if the central government gives you permissions, and the Youth Affairs, Sports Ministry, External Affairs Ministry, so many departments, because 188 countries, over 2,000 participants from various parts of the world, all of them have to come in. In fact, one of the grandmasters had tweeted about the immigration process being one of the smoothest is seen anywhere in the world. So that needs a lot of cooperation from the central government. So the centre has given all its backing to the state government to do such a beautiful event. So it is very silly and very childish of the state government to be crying over central government taking, or in fact Karyakartas wanting the state government to acknowledge the support which is being given by the Narendra Modi government for this event happen. In fact, people from various parts of the world who are here will only recognize Narendra Modi because he is more than a prime minister. He is a global leader today. He is a global icon. So celebrating him is the need of the hour, and the Stalin government has to realize that. But at the end of the day, we are all happy. He's going to be on a stage, and the Chief Minister is going to be on a stage, and we just want this event to be a grand success in India, to be proud of it.
Thank you so much for taking the time out. I know you have to go inside, so all the very best. So you've got all these BJP leaders forming around me. I'm going to try to move to a corner as well. There's an air of excitement around here, Pooja, as I report. Prime Minister Modi has gone in, but you can see that even as people are dispersing, they're still here in large numbers. This entire road was closed up. This entire road filled with hundreds of BJP workers. This is something I was telling Shiv earlier. As someone who's covered Tamil Nadu politics, a couple of years ago, this would have been seemingly impossible to have these many BJP workers actually on the streets of Tamil Nadu, a state where the Bharatiya Janata Party has struggled to get any sort of foothold. I'm not trying to suggest that they've managed to get that foothold, but as far as the optics are concerned, they're going all out to ensure that they send across the right message. And I know that a few months back, when Chief Minister Stalin and Prime Minister Narendra Modi shared the stage here in Chennai, there was a lot of politics that played out, because Chief Minister Stalin made those comments on the stage where he raised NEET, he brought up GST dues, etc. This time around, we're being told none of that is going to happen. It's an international event.
Yes.
And so the focus is going to be on putting India first. So Chief Minister
no
Stalin, Prime
political
Minister Modi, they're
bickering
known for their
today,
bonhomie on
likely,
stage as
Akshita.
well.
And as you get us these reactions coming in, we're looking at the cavalcade of Prime Minister Modi on our screens, just about to reach the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium. But what a proud moment for the state of Tamil Nadu, for the country as well. Remember, India is hosting the Chess Olympiad for the first time. It has come to our country and to Asia, actually, after 30 years. And Indian delegation is the biggest contingent this time. So whether it's the DMK, whether it's the BJP, today, for the international audience, they are going to be together on one stage to inaugurate. Akshita and Pramod continue to be with me, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi there waving to the audience. Akshita, quickly, before I go across to Pramod right now, this is also about Tamil Nadu managing to get the infrastructure together, of course with the help of the government at the centre, but for the bureaucracy, for the politicians to ensure that within 4 months, after the acknowledgement of the hosting of the event, to have the infrastructure. We're talking about 187 nations, 700 boards, 3,000 people. This is no easy task.
Very, very true. And hats off really to the administration for pulling this off. Let me also tell you that the Chess Olympiad actually is happening in beautiful, beautiful Mahabalipuram, Pooja. I'm at the historic setting of the Shore Temple of Krishna's Butterball. That's where you're going to be seeing actually the Chess Olympiad happening. That's about 1.5 hours or so away from where we are right now. This is literally the heart of the city. Stones throw away is Napier Bridge, which you've of course seen those iconic images. I think everyone in the country now is familiar with Napier Bridge because of the way they set it up and ensure that the entire place looked like a chessboard. So, beyond the preparations that have gone into this event, what's commendable is the fact that today everyone is talking about a chess Olympiad. Would we have been doing this in other circumstances? The reality is, with the kind of buzz, the unique campaigns, the innovative steps they've taken to create awareness on the Chess Olympiad, Chennai always has been referred to as the chess capital of India. But we too, I'd say, the media has been rather guilty of ignoring chess as a sport. That has changed now with this kind of a step being taken. They've ensured largely that there's a lot more coverage and focus on chess, and hats off to the administration for pulling this off. And
this is despite the historic connect of India with the sport of chess, with the grandmasters and legends that India has also produced. But Mahabalipuram's beaches, and of course it's as beautiful as we've seen it, how amazing and beautiful Mahabalipuram's beach and just the cultural significance is, and it's managed to get the host venue. Akshita, please stay on with me because I have to go across now to Pramod as well. Pramod, so has the Prime Minister reached the stadium? He was seen waving and acknowledging to the supporters and dancers there. Where is Prime Minister Modi at the moment?
Pooja, just a couple of seconds ago, the Prime Minister reached the podium, and in fact, this is a location where you can see a large crowd that has gathered. And over here, as he entered, he was showered with flowers, and the entire spot is covered with people who want to meet the Prime Minister. They have been waiting here for a good amount of time, and they are really happy because the Prime Minister also took his time. The convoy did not speed up. It came very slowly, and there was flower petals, as you could see on the roadside. It was actually he was showered with flower petals, and everybody welcomed the Prime Minister. This is a very proud moment because 44th Chess Olympiad that is occurring in Chennai, and the state government has done a considerable amount of work in it, and the Prime Minister, in a way, coming over here, it is definitely a memorable moment, Pooja.
So Pramod Madhav is getting these visuals of hundreds at least of fan supporters, not just of the BJP, but of course local residents, they're gathering, which is clearly a proud moment for the state as well that's managed to pull off this event, and Pramod Madhav has been speaking to all. Akshita, I want to come back to you because we saw veteran actor Rajnikant, we saw chess legend Vishwanathan Anand as well, and all the other politicians also have arrived. But what I could see from these visuals coming in was how a mega opening ceremony the government has managed to put together, from dancers across the country, putting forth the culture, the colors of Tamil Nadu, all of that, and clearly for an international audience.
Very, very true. And I think some of the highlights of that ceremony we've been playing out here on India Today live as well. And it's been amazing to watch. It's truly a spectacle. There was a bit of confusion initially about where the opening ceremony was going to happen. There was talk that it's going to happen in Mahabalipuram, where the actual chess Olympiad is taking place. But instead they changed the venue and brought it to, in fact, the heart of the city, to Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium as well. It's been a huge event. And you know, the who's who of Chennai is currently inside that stadium. Rajnikanth is there, A.R. Rahman is there, of course the entire DMK government, the opposition, everyone's together on this. Because, you know, while we've seen a lot of bickering with regards to posters, who gets credit, etc., I think everyone joins together at this very moment. They'll stand together, and the messaging is very, very clear here, that this is a very, very proud moment for India. It's a very proud moment for every Tamilian as well. And that's where they're all united in celebrating this very moment, this chess Olympiad that's brought together so many countries to one city. And already there's been so much talk on social media. Many of the tweets of grandmasters who've said that, you know, the kind of preparations on the ground are unbelievable, are amazing. You know, at the Chennai airport, when I landed yesterday also, Pooja, there were so many boards that said, welcome to all of the chess champions. There were posters all around, of course, of the mascot Thambi as well, that was put up in several parts of the city. Thambi has become synonymous essentially with being a Chennaiite because of how long he's been out here on the streets of Chennai celebrating the chess Olympiad with every single Chennaiite. So this is a grand, grand moment. It's a historic moment for Tamil Nadu. Chief Minister M.K. Stalin recognized that. Due credit to him, because the fact is that this event happened because the DMK government swooped in. The moment they realized Russia is not going to be able to hold this event, we heard that, you know, the International Chess Federation was looking around. There was interest that was immediately shown, and in a matter of 24 hours, it was confirmed that Chennai would be the venue of the chess
that
Olympiad.
swift proposal and approach of Tamil Nadu has helped it clinch this host venue spot, and the best of the best musician A.R. Rahman has composed the chess anthem as you see this Olympiad event that's scheduled to begin. Now, Akshay Nath, my colleague there in Chennai, is tracking the convoy of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, because that will be the highlight once he arrives. Akshay, over to you now. She sent us this report just about a short while ago. Let's take a look at that.
Awaited event is about to kickstart in a short while from now. Right now we can see Prime Minister Narendra Modi has landed in Chennai, and in front of your screens you can see the Prime Minister waving at the crowd from inside his car. He is wearing the white shirt, checkered Angavastra and the white...
That's Akshay Nath tracking the cavalcade of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And this, remember, is we are talking about 187 nations that India is all set to host. That's Prime Minister Narendra Modi arriving on stage at the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in Chennai. All smiles, PM Modi. Applause there from DMK's Kanimori, Rajnikanth, and of course...
Bharata Pradhamar, Thiru Narendra Modi avargale. We now welcome our honorable chief guest, the honorable to have you here, sir. Being on this stage, in this auditorium with you, enhances and exhilarates each and every one of us. Today is a day that we will remember forever and ever, because this is a milestone and a moment that we will cherish. We'd also like to welcome the Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, Thiru R.N. Ravi, Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Thiru M.K. Stalin, Union Minister for Information, Broadcasting and Youth Affairs and Sports, Thiru Anurag Singh Thakur avargal, Honorable Union Minister of State for Fisheries, Dairy, Information and Broadcast, Thiru L. Murugan avargal, Honorable Minister for Climate Change and Youth Welfare and Sports Development, Government of Tamil Nadu, Thiru Shivavi Meyyathan avargal, the President of the International Chess Federation, Mr. Arkady Dvorkovich. அடுத்ததாக 100 கருவிகளால் இசைக்கப்படும் இந்தியாவின் நேஷனல் anthem. அதனைத் தொடர்ந்து தமிழ் தாய் வாழ்த்து. அனைவரையும் தாழ்மையுடன் எழுந்து நிற்குமாறு கேட்டுக்கொள்கிறோம். We now request all of you to rise for the performances of the national anthem of India, followed by the invocation to the motherland, Mother Tamil, presented by James Vasantan's 100-piece choir, requesting everyone to kindly stay risen for the national as well as the state anthem. Thank you. Thank you very much. You may kindly be seated. Moving ahead, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for me to welcome the Honorable Minister for Youth Welfare and Sports Development, Government of Tamil Nadu, Thiru Shivavi Meyyanathan avargal, to render the welcome address.
Dignitaries and the dais and off the dais, good evening. I take immense pride in welcoming you all to India and to Tamil Nadu for the inauguration of the 44th FIDE Chess Olympiad 2022. Chennai, aptly known as the capital of chess in India, is all set to host one of the biggest international sporting events from 28 July to 10th August 2022. The government of Tamil Nadu and All India Chess Federation have stood shoulder to shoulder and have here successfully raced against time to make the 44th Chess Olympiad an unprecedented sporting experience for the players and spectators alike. We express our sincere thanks to Government of India for extending all cooperation in this endeavor. We deem it an absolute honor that our Honorable Prime Minister Thiru Narendra Modi is with us today to inaugurate the event. This Olympiad would not have been possible at the scale without the continued support and consistent encouragement shown by the Union government led by the Honorable Prime Minister. We welcome the Honorable Prime Minister to this prestigious event. It's my pleasure to welcome Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, Thiru R.N. Ravi. Dreams come true, but for that, it is essential to conceive an idea in the first place. Our Honorable Chief Minister has made this possible. Being a sportsperson himself, he meticulously planned each and every step of this esteemed international tournament marked by the class and grandeur. It's my privilege to welcome Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Thiru Muthuvel Karunanidhi Stalin. I would like to express my hearty welcome to Honorable Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting and Youth Affairs and Sports, Thiru Anurag Singh Thakur. We are grateful for the unwavering cooperation and guidance of the Union Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. My special welcome to Honorable Union Minister of State, Thiru L. Murugan. It's my privilege to welcome RKD Tavakoch, President of PIDE, and all other dignitaries on and off of the dais. Ladies and gentlemen, we are extremely honored to have you here as our guest today. Sports transcends national, ethnic, racial, and linguistic boundaries apart from being a glorious first human excellence. After enduring one of the greatest health crises in human history in the form of COVID pandemic, here we are here. As one big family, we are as marked the global solidarity. With this spirit, we are extremely delighted you have around 2,000 participants and thousands of spectators from all over the world. People of Tamil Nadu, welcome you all with great love and affection. Once again, on behalf of Government of India, the Government of Tamil Nadu, and the All India Chess Federation, I extend very warm welcome to all of you. We sincerely hope that your experience in Chennai will be cherished forever. இந்த மகத்தான நிகழ்வை காட்சி ஊடகங்கள் மூலம் கண்டு மகிழும் உலகெங்கும் ஆளும் கோடிக்கணக்கான தமிழ் நெஞ்சங்களுக்கு என் வணக்கத்தையும் வாழ்த்துக்களையும் கூறி நிறைவு செய்கிறேன். வணக்கம், நன்றி.
Nandri, sir. Moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, we'd now like to invite the Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Thiru M.K. Stalin Avargal, to felicitate the Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Modi Avargal. The Honorable Prime Minister of India. Sir, ungalai gauravipadil engalukku மிகவும் மகிழ்ச்சி. Thank you so much for being here once again. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, you may be aware that we are home to the oldest living language still in use. In addition, this is also amongst the oldest continuing civilizations in the entire world. Our next event depicts the genesis, the evolution of one of the oldest civilizations. This stunning act has been choreographed by Shamak Davar and performed by his dance company. And the person who has lent his voice to this act is none other than our very own Ulaga Nayagan Kamal Hassan Avargal. Kamal sir odia kuralil தமிழ் மொழி, தமிழ் கலாச்சாரம், தமிழனுடைய பெருமையை காண்போமா?
கல் தோன்றி மண் தோன்றா காலத்தே வாளோடு முன் தோன்றி மூத்த கொடி. An excerpt from the Purapurul Brindamale, a treatise from the 6th century, describes me as the one that existed before agriculture. I have seen kingdoms come and go. I have seen battles of wit and more. Amidst each of you, I'm here to tell a story, the greatest of them all. The Tamil soil's story. My Tamil man. Welcome. I am everywhere. I was there when the first block of wood was carved. The first king was crowned. The first ship set to sea. And I'm there when all the glory now lies beneath the sand. The value of what we unearth, a broken pot, a dirtied coin, a wooden toy, or a rusted iron tool from 4,000 years ago, is as priceless and timeless as the history it comes from, the Tamil land that it comes from. This history begins at the beginning of time itself. Our culture took its first steps along with the early man. The village of Adirambakam holds stone tools as old as 1.5 million to 385,000 years of age. Mailadumparai unearthed tools and rock art from 4,200 years ago. We were witnesses to the age of iron, smelting and wielding its power at a time as old as 2000 BC. Able to generate our own heat of more than 1,500 degrees Celsius. This was just the beginning. Then came the time of the leaping tiger, the Chora Empire. Twin Fish, Pandya Empire. Glorious bow and arrow, the emblem of the Cheras. land flourished and Tamil rejoiced. The Cheras, the Cholas, and the Pandyas. It was a time of true innovation. It was a time of the people. We were industrious, even before it was a word in the West. Dating back to the 6th century BC, we used terracotta pipes for irrigation, establishing our core livelihood, agriculture and farming. Society began to thrive. Life was rich and livelihood grew under the able administration of the kings. In the 1st century